los sabecitos. What? Fist up today. Fist up today. Oh, fins up, baby. Miami, stand up. This is Fins Talk today. Let's go. Sun up over there. Game day on the brain. From the tailgate smoke to the hard count rain. Orange aqua on my back. Crowd shaking every seat. We talking ball, talking heat. Turn it up, feel that beat. Fins talk today. Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Bobby Fins talk. Fins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos. It's Fins talk today. Hey. It's Fins talk today. Who you reppin'? Who you riding? Miami. Who you riding? Dolphins. We break it down, break it live. Every snap, every drive. Hey. Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Fins talk. Fins Sammy on the way. Miami. Vamos. It's Fins talk today. Hey. Fins talk today.
Right. What is up, Fins Up Nation? Welcome to another edition of Fins Talk today here on FTSN, powered by FTSN and Fins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. I'm Bobby Fins Talk. That's Fin Sammy, and we got a very special guest, FTSN family member, longtime family member, Doll of Doll Diaries. What's up, Doll? How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you guys? Long time no see.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a little bit, but that's okay. Munraj, I see you in there, my man. What is up? Appreciate you tuning in. Miami Sports, everybody dropping in. Got a fun show here today. Get Doll in here. We haven't heard from Doll from a little bit since the draft. So
Yeah.
gonna get in here and talk about what she thinks of this offseason so far. We're getting closer to the season, which is awesome. And we got, of course, some news that we want to talk about as we get in. DSG says Miss Trouble is in the house. So there you go. DSG is in. He's
So
ready to go.
patient lately, you guys. Jeez.
Yeah, no, she's in a great mood, dude. Like
It's the off season. It's the off
It's the off season.
Chilling. Yes.
There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing up. Sammy, my man, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. It's been a good week for the Dolphins. Jordan Brooks is back. Started rookie training camp. So far, so good. There are other teams that already have some bad news. So the Dolphins got part. At least everything looks like it's good and good. So we have to wait and see next week when training camp starts for the veterans. But so far, all is good news.
All is good news. All is
Yes,
good
sir.
news. And let's get through the news. And you and I were live on Tuesday night to discuss the breaking news of Jordan Brooks getting extended.
Yes.
John Eric Sullivan, the general manager of the Miami Dolphins, doing what he said he was going to do. Again, he talked about the four building blocks, the foundational pieces, was Devon H and Aaron Brewer, Jordan Brooks, Patrick Paul. He locks those guys down. Now those guys are locked in for at least 3 to 4 seasons. So we talked about it already, Sammy. Nobody wants to hear from us right now. So we're going to hear from Doll and get her reaction first about Jordan Brooks, and then we'll get into HN and Brewer and the rest of the group. But Jordan Brooks locked in for at least 3 seasons, the pair with Jacob Rodriguez. Courtney, when you heard that news, what was your reaction?
I was just so excited that we're finally retaining talent and we're keeping the guys who are producing on the field. I think the whole fan base after Van Ginkel is traumatized.
Yeah.
So I think it was refreshing to see the guys who are putting in the work getting rewarded with an extension, with a bigger contract. It also shows that they want to stay here, that they maybe believe in what we're building with this new regime going forward. I think that that's kind of a good sign, a low-key sign. If, things were still on fire behind the scenes, guys might be like, I'm going to get going, but they seem to want to be here, so I'll take it.
First off, you hit the nail right on the head. That was one of my key points when we talked about this, and not just Jordan Brooks, but Devon H and Aaron Brewer. Those 3 guys, these are 3 great players at their position, top 5, top 2, top 10, depending on who you ask with Devon H. And, these are 100%. But these are guys that premium guys in the league that it would be absolutely understandable if they said, I don't want to be here. There is no expectation of winning right now. They could easily have said that and no one could blame them. No one with a sane mind could say, why? No, you'd be like, you know what? I get it. Goodbye. Let's try to get it. Let's trade him for the best piece. No, but they extended these deals. They signed these deals to stay here, not because Miami offered him some big ass deal. If you look at it between Jordan Brooks and Brewer, Brooks got a good deal, but really it wasn't like some game breaking, record making deal. No, because they believe in the structure of what the Miami Dolphins plan to do. John Eric Sullivan, Coach Halfley. So to me, that's what it says to me more than, oh, we've locked in Jordan Brooks because we're going to win something big this year. No one has that expectation, unless, of course, you've seen the new latest Fins TV promotional piece. Unless you got to wake up. That was.
It's just a dream.
I'll tell you,
it's an impossible dream, baby.
That was awesome. By the way, sorry, I just thought about that. Great. If you guys haven't seen it, go to Twitter, social media, go check out Fins TV, the trailer for the new season of Fins TV, man. I mean, it really brings you up just to slam you right back down, just like the Dolphins.
But that's exactly perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely.
But I think, Doll, you're right on the money, and that's exactly my point on Tuesday. This speaks more to what these players believe in this organization, what the plan is going forward. And that's why, even though there is no expectations, there's a lot of pressure on this team next year. They talk about Pro Football Focus, Jonas Savannah is one of the top second-year players facing the most pressure in the 26th season. There's a lot of players in Miami facing a lot of pressure because, again, Jordan Brooks, Devon Achane, Aaron Brewer, Malik Willis, these are guys that were signed and or extended not only because of what their talent is or could be. Malik Willis, we're going to see what he can do as the starter. It's because the work they put in, the effort they put in, not just on game day when the team plays like ass and they're still playing their best ball, but again, in practice, in the film room, etc. This is what the Dolphins, they signed these guys to give an example to the rest of the team, Savannah, and so forth. Hey, this is how you got to model your game after. So Savannah, yes, moving from the left side to the right side. I believe he's going to do better. I like him coming out of college when we drafted him, hated him on the left side. We'll see how he does on the right side. Doll, I know you have some names I'm sure you'll bring up. We'll talk about pressure player. But, I've discussed it on this show. Chop. I like Chop Robinson his first year. Second year, lame duck. I mean, he on the field, off the field, whatever. So if he's ready to come in and play his best ball under this new regime, yes, he's facing pressure or he's out the door. He's a first-round pick. Wasted.
Do you know what I will say? I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. He had a terrible season. Basically criticized by the fan base the entire season, right? Deleted all of his social media.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Heard a peep from him since the season ended. I am going to go positive and say that he realized, you know what, I didn't do good. I need to lock in. And that's where I'm going to go with it mentally, is that he has decided this offseason that he is to lock in, that maybe, okay, had a great first year, kind of let it get to my head that I'm an NFL player. Things didn't happen. There was some injury. The line wasn't great. I'm going to lock in now. So I think he's one to look out for, because it is shocking to me that after the season ended, he deleted it all and he just went silent. You don't hear from him. He doesn't so I'm hoping that means that he has just spent the offseason focused, training, and kind of getting his mind right. Hopefully putting on some weight. I think he's still a little undersized.
Yes.
And getting after it. So he's somebody who I want to watch and see what this year brings him.
I love that answer because he is someone I've brought up before, because when we draft him, everybody's like, oh, the numbers. He doesn't have the stats. He doesn't have the sacks. I'm like, but you got to watch the film. He has the skill set. And you saw some of that in the first year. You saw some sparks where you're like, okay, this guy could be. And in his second year, it went downhill. But there were a few guys on this roster that did not show up last year. And again, it's hard for me to say, oh, Chop's a bust, or Savannah's a bust, or Kenneth Grant is a bust, because the whole team was a bust.
Yeah.
And again, my point was, look at the coaching staff. Look at the veterans, the guys that phoned it in or were busy, messing around off the team and getting suspended and whatever the hell, and not giving a damn. They were just there to get their check and move on. So I can understand the young guys phoning in it. That's why, again, for me, someone like Devon Achen, Aaron Brewer, and Patrick Paul, especially, who's very young, who still played his, he keeps getting better and better. That impresses me about them, but that's why I'm not giving up on the Sabanez and the Chops and the so forth. Because at first I had no idea he deleted his social. So to me, that says the same thing. Where it's like, again, when you're learning, when you're like going to deal with half and everything, you're like, no, my head's going to be in the game. I want to play my best ball. So that's exciting to hear. Sammy, what are you thinking about? What do you think about that? You're muted.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Steve. Hopefully, Steve is watching. That's how much Steve had it. We were talking on Tuesday about, and I agree with Dahl. I think that's a great point, because on Tuesday I used the example of Kenneth Grant as a player who has to know this is a new regime. You're a top pick. You have to come prepared. You have to come focused. You have to be ready. You Chop Robinson basically is that focus. Hopefully that's the mindset that he knows he's a crucial year for him. He's focused. Social media is out. And he's being called out by Jeff Hafley. That video where he's trying to cheer him up, but he's putting him in the spotlight, and the camera is right there a couple of months ago. I think he's one of those guys in the spotlight. Kenneth Grant is another. So those guys, former first-round picks, have to come here to perform. So that's the kind of focus I was talking on Tuesday about what is needed from the player. So if a player like Chop Robinson does something like that, and he knows the pressure is on him, and he comes focused, and at the end he has to perform. But that says a lot, because last year it was Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright, said, even did some interviews. He said he was focused. He's gonna come to play, and he came. He last year it was so again. So he didn't perform to the expectation he has for himself. So you can come focused, but you have to perform at the end of the day. So hopefully, that's a huge step. But now they had to put up a shut up, because as former first-round picks, the heat is on, the pressure is you guys, and this regime has no attachment to either one of them. So they're going to be the focus. They're going to be, in this defense for sure needs them, because this defense basically is Chubb's out, so many players are out, so they're going to need to perform.
Though I want to make sure I get Manraj's question here. He said it to both me and you, but I'll let you answer this one. He goes, Dahl, do you think the Dolphins should get Stephon Diggs before training camp in free agency?
Look me in my eyes. That's hysterical. No, thank you. I'm sorry, Terry Hill 2.0, off-season baby mama drama. No, thank you.
Even worse.
On the field, absolutely
Even
not.
worse.
Absolutely not. That is an insane take. Absolutely not. And I don't think that Hafley wants that either. That is hysterical. No.
Manraj, I want to congratulate you on getting her to break. Well, let's see, 13 minutes in. She looked me in my eyes.
Minus the theme song, minus the intro, 13 minutes. So,
that's right, minus the intro. A minute of the for the intro.
I don't know, 11?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to be laid back. But Raj asked her, she's like, listen, look in my eyes. It was like,
yeah,
damn.
but to be fair, I said it calmly.
You did say it calmly. You didn't go off.
So I didn't break the calm. I just calmly let him know that's a hard no.
That's a hard no.
Try again.
Honestly, if this was Chris Greer, this is not yesterday's Chris. This is not yesterday's Dolphin. We're not getting Stephon Diggs. Look, we just talked about it here. This is just another reaction thing, but 3 players now on the active non-football injury list. Chris Bell, wide receiver out of Louisville. But we knew that going in. And I'm okay with that, especially with some season like this where there is no expectations.
Actually, that's good news.
It is great news.
Actually.
Don't rush him. Let him go.
Exactly.
Let him relax. Let him get better and come ready to play. The other players, though, again, corners, Darrell Baker Jr. and Storm Duck, both also placed on the non-active list. So I'll start with that one.
Look at that. Look what position that is. That we still. Would you look at that?
Would you look at it?
Would you look at that? We have Marshall and
Chris Johnson.
I was gonna say my eye on the guy is Chris Johnson. I don't know yet. I can't call him my guy. I gotta see. I want to hopefully see him in some preseason games. I got to assess after the fiasco that was Cam Smith. I will not back a rookie.
A rookie corner.
Traumatized by rookie corners.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
The difference is everybody knew who Chris Johnson was, and it should be a first round or early second round pick. When we drafted Cam Smith, and where we did, we're like, wait, who?
Oh,
when?
yeah.
Why? How?
Yeah.
How did that happen? So
I just feel like corner's been a deficit for this team for 3-4 years. I mean, we have no depth there. Well, we don't have starter material, but we also just don't have depth at all. And they seem to go down a lot.
Yeah.
So
I was ready for Doug to remind us since when. I was pretty sure he's going to remind us that the corner has been a problem since
Xavier Howard.
There you
100%.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But
at this point, he would still be better than anybody on our roster, and I will fight somebody who disagrees with me. Current status included.
hold on, I'm gonna make
Keep
it
trying,
bigger.
guys. Bring it on.
I don't
Let's keep
know.
trying.
Still be better than any corner on our roster, and I will fight
Woody
anybody
though,
who disagrees with me.
Woody, like, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't Juju Brent? I think Juju Brents is a better
I
option.
think Juju brings to you. Yeah.
I like Juju Brents, but he's not Xavier Howard. He hasn't done what Xavier Howard can do.
No,
I'd like to see another year out of him.
Bobby,
But I'm gonna say this.
is-
Go ahead.
it's 8:14. By 8:30, I think we're gonna get her. We're gonna get her to explode. So
To be fair,
keep going.
everybody
Keep
knows
poking.
what
Keep
my
poking, Bobby.
weakness is. My weaknesses, my kryptonites are very plainly on my body. Like, just
now-
very plainly, everybody knows.
Now we need DSG to say Asian sucks, and probably we're gonna be there. So let's
That's
do it.
like-
We're reaching that point.
That's 25 to life there. So I'm just gonna warn everybody.
Yeah. Well, Xavier Howard, it's no doubt one of the better corners in Dolphins history, but like Duncan Robinson, he's out of here. So we got to just keep moving on and talk about
We're gonna
other.
bring that one up there too, huh? Yeah.
I'm trying.
You ask me if I can come on. I'm gonna give you a LeBron answer and just stay silent for several weeks.
That's right. There you go.
And be patient.
Let me think about it. Yeah, that's
Be
right.
like, hey, Dolly, you free to come on? I'm just gonna send you a picture of LeBron.
I love that. That's perfect.
That's it. That's the response. You'll never know. You won't know if I'm coming or not.
But too much fun too early on. But anyway,
We're laughing too much already. This is
Yeah,
too much.
you got to get
Yes.
back to the show.
You
But
gotta
I'll tell
get
you
back
what
to
this
the
is. Talk about Chris Bell and Storm Duck Daryl Baker. Like, this is why I really with Chris Bell, I don't have an issue with it because he's a rookie. We don't want to force him. We want him to come back and whenever he's ready and see the best ball he could play, make sure he's 100%. When I see Daryl Baker and Storm Duck, yeah, I get a bit of a side eye. But this is what this season's about. It's opportunity. Like, this doesn't bother me. Oh, so-and-so's on the like, what are we playing for this season? We're not playing. We want to, but let's be real here. There's no expectations with this season. We're not expecting anything. We're not expecting like if they win anything. If they're oh my God, we're challenging for a playoff. That would be shocking. That's not the expectation. We're not playing for that this year. I've said it on many shows. This year is not there's zero expectation. What this season's about is progression, growth, opportunity. Hey, Chris Bell's not playing. Hey, Malik Washington, are you going to take that number one spot? Are you going to let Jalen Tolbert come out of nowhere and take that spot? Are you going to take Tyreek's spot? Tyreek's gone. Jalen Waddle's gone. Hey, Caleb Douglas, people are doubting you. You got drafted and people over Chris Bell, and people are like, what? We could have got this guy. Prove them wrong. This is your opportunity. There's no one who should be starting over you. If they start over you, it's because you lost that spot. You're competing with these guys. They're all equals here. It's opportunity. Jason Marshall. Who in the starting cornerback room? The secondary is our weakest unit, in my opinion. Who should be starting over you? Nobody. If you're not the starters because you didn't earn it. You can't say, well, that guy's better than me. That's Xavier Howard. Or in the wide receiver, no, that's Tyreek Hill. Of course he's going to start. Of course he is. There's no Tyreek Hill or Xavier Howard. So this season's about opportunity. So, Dal, like I've been saying this year, that's what I'm looking for. Like if we see Malik Willis, like just, have a player, just a player. If we see a player have a bad game, okay, how does he respond in week 2 or week 3 or whatever? Does he grow from it or does he continue to suck? And if he continues to suck, get his ass out of here. And let's go get the next guy in or call the next guy up. So, like, when I see these players, on the reserve or whatever, that's okay. Let the season be that. Those guys are hurt. Let them rest, because what's the point? Why are we going to kill them for? Let them rest. Let them get better, and let's see if the next guy earns that opportunity. But I'll tell you what, I'm excited about Caleb Douglas. Coleman, too, the receiver redrafted out of Missouri, who once played for Louisville, for the return team. I'm excited for those guys. This season is about opportunity. Go ahead, Sammy.
I want one of the thoughts from Dahl, because I for one think that the fans have no patience. We know enough to know this team is not good enough to have great expectations. But do you really think that these fans they really care to say, no, I understand this team is not, the best team, it's not the most loaded team. Like I told Bobby the other day, this team has only 38.6% of the cap available. Of 100% cap available, they're playing with only 38.6%. Do you think the fans care and they can say there are no expectations, we're going to take it easy? Or you think they're going to bash this team, whatever? If we're, 1-10, and this team is going to say, no, this year they can take this year off, or this fan base is going to be going nuts, and they're going to basically call it for half league. That's what I said. What are your thoughts? You think they're going to be patient, or they're not going to be patient?
I don't think patient. I think most of the fan base has no expectations. I think from who I've spoken to, nobody really expects much out of the season, and they kind of understand that we have a pretty bare bones roster.
Okay.
So I don't think there will be mutiny. I don't think that they're going to be calling, obviously, for Halfley or Sullivan anybody's heads, and you can't your first year, especially with the deficit that we left this team in. So I don't think, you're still going to have the outliers who just like to complain, or the delusionals who are like, oh, I can't believe we lost a game. I'll be more pissed if we end the season like 50% or like middle of the road, like 13th pick again. Like, to me, if we're going to have a bad season, I need a top 5 draft pick out of it, because we're missing some very important key positions that you can really only get in those first 5 picks. So I'm not watching to pick 13th to 15th again. That'll piss me off, because it's like, okay, we did all of that for what again? We did it last year. We're going to do it again this year? No, if we're going to commit to developing our guys, still having that philosophy, but being like, yo, we still got to think about next year where we may actually begin to compete for the playoff spot. I think there's a fine line that the team has to kind of balance this year, because you can't go close enough or not. Like, you have to just tank all the way.
Absolutely. Bobby?
So, I get that. I get it. And I said this on Tuesday, especially after, bringing back Jordan Brooks, because it's the same argument could be made for someone who would want, I know you're good with the moves, but an argument could be made for somebody who, I want a top 10, top 5 pick, especially with the talent in next year's draft. And I will tell you though,
yes.
I'm just going to say this right now, from watching what I've watched, I got to get back into it, but for watching there's a lot of talent in this draft. Like, I'm telling you, like, you could be a 15th guy and you're going to get you're going to get a very good 15th guy, but I get it. And I'm not just talking quarterbacks. I know everybody, not everybody, but the majority at the beginning was like, oh, we need a quarterback. Let's get top 5, 10. No, you want Jeremiah Smith type of guy. There's Dylan Stewart at edge rusher. There are a lot of great players at the top part of this draft. So I get it. But, one of the topics I brought up, Dahl, was in Tuesday, was re-signing Jordan Brooks, Devon Achane, Aaron Brewer, bringing in Malik Willis. For people who go like, we're trying to take first, like, I'm going to say this. I truly believe, especially after you sign these guys, like, I think Miami understands what team they are. They know, hey, we're probably not going to be contending for a playoff spot or whatever, but I think they're going to try to play for one. I don't see them, and I think you would agree with that, even though, like, you're not, I agree with you, like, oh, we're going to go 8-8 again. But that's why, like, not 8-8, but 8-9, whatever. I understand that point. Like, either have a terrible season and we get a top pick, or shock the world. Both would be great. But be middle of the end. Now, I'll say this is where I differ, and you could argue and whatever, but where I differ is, like, this is why I say progression, opportunity. Like if it's a middle of the road type of season, right? Or at least record wise, we're looking at it and we go, all right, hey guys, getting ready for the draft again. Here we go. We're going to wait till like 13 picks and whatever. But like when we're talking, you're saying on that draft show, like, hey, Malik Willis show, like, we don't need to look at a quarterback. Devon H. Ollie Gordon freaking showed up. We don't need a second back. We got our tight end, Will Kasmerick or Delchich or whatever. Like, like we were able to say after, like, guys stepped up. Like, they shocked the world by the way they play. Like, we feel good about what next season. And now it's not about, we need that one good player. It's about what can we add to this team to make sure we take that next step. That's where, I think you could agree, this team is not looking to tank. This not team's like, we're going to ride it in. These guys want to win. But where I would agree with you on, if the team plays like there's no progression, like guys just play good enough just to like shock a couple games and then we're in the middle of the road. And it's kind of like, damn, like now we get stuck. But if they play great and we're seeing guys that we could be like, hey man, Chop Robinson played his best ball this year. He won us some games this year. Kenneth Grant stepped up. Chris Johnson and Jason Marshall, like, we know we got our corner. Like, even though maybe we didn't make the playoffs and we're middle of the road, we could go into next season saying, or to the draft, Sammy, we go into the draft going, we know these guys stepped up. That's why we're in the middle of the road. I can't wait to add that next guy in here, maybe to put us over. That's where I would push back on that notion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I agree. But I think, and maybe this is where I differ a little bit, I see that point of view, but I think that if you have that many guys, say we only need a couple pieces at the end, you're not going to be that middle of the road. You would have been, I would say, higher. You would have been closer to the 20s. I think just if you only needed a couple of pieces and you had that many guys really stepping up and really showing out and like saying, hey, these are the future of our guys, and we have, Malik, Achan, Ali, everybody, you're not going to be that disappointing picking at 13 because these guys tremendously showed out and maybe lost one or two, close game. But I think there would have been more production than what I'm referring to, if that makes sense. Like, I'm saying lower shitty end. I think you're thinking of higher shitty end.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, it's
you
the way you look at it. Glass half full.
If you only need one or two guys or like a couple pieces here and there, you're in a great position, but I think you're going to draft higher, or I call it higher. I think it's lower. You know what I mean? Like you're going to draft back more. Whereas if you don't have those key pieces, you're going to need that lower end, and the team wouldn't be performing well, especially with the key players,
Yeah, I got you. And I see, Will of 305 Sports Now Sports Podcast, guys, go check out Will. If you love the Canes, if you love Miami sports in general, go check out Will on 305 Sports Now, and subscribe to his channel. Awesome stuff, awesome Canes content, awesome Miami sports content. But he's throwing in there about Jeremiah Smith. Like, if Miami could come, like, again, I'm excited to see these young receivers that we got. Even Malik Washington, great dude. I got to meet him, great guy. But I'm excited to see him. But like Chris Bell, okay, we know we're not going to get to see him early on. But Caleb Douglas, he has the size, he has the speed. I want to see if he answers the call. Coleman that we took out of Missouri, as a returner, as a playmaker, especially when there's no heavy top, Tyreek and Waddle, and we know those guys we're only get to see him in the preseason, like Theo Reese. We go, man, I know that guy has the talent, but we're never really going to get a chance to see him, only in the preseason. This is the season to get to see those guys and for them to make a name for themselves. And that's why I'm excited for this season for these guys. John Eric Sullivan only mentioned 4 names, again, when he came in here, and those 4 names 3 out of those 4 names have hit extensions. The only one who hasn't is Patrick Paul, because he's on a rookie deal. So, and Malik Willis, I guess, would be the same as that kind of foundational piece. But looking at when he talked about the pillars, the 4 pillars, Patrick Paul, Achan, Brewer, Jordan Brooks, naming those guys as the 4 pillars, Dahl, and then obviously getting those guys on extensions. What is your reaction? What's your grade so far with John Eric? What are your thoughts on John Eric Sullivan and making sure he locked up his guys that he said, these are the guys I want to build this team on. I want to build the foundation on. I want to build around him. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, so far I like that his actions and his words are aligning. That he
Love that. Yeah.
seems he doesn't give you any like fluff. It seems like he's just right to the point. He tells you, how it is, and it seems as he's a pretty straightforward guy. Now, with what he's promised and what his vision for the team is, I'm still holding reservation on that because I haven't actually seen the team put together and performing and really kind of seeing if his vision actually comes to fruition in a way that works out. But I do appreciate that he is following through with what he said. So I have to give credit where credit's due there.
That's what I say the same thing. Like you said, fluff. And I think that's a great point because that's kind of what you felt like when you listened to Chris Greer. Like they'd ask him a direct question and he'd go, well, yeah, and of course the famous line, you care about more about the offensive line. And it was never a straight answer or or you had to try to cherry pick in the answer to get the right. With Sullivan, it seems like what he says is kind of like the writing on the wall. Like when he said about in his opening press conference, hey, you're going to see guys that we're going to move that are good players, basically paraphrasing. It's not personal. These are good dudes. It's just we got to do what's best for the Miami Dolphins. And he kind of setting us up for, Minka Fitzpatrick to the Jets, gone. Tyreek Hill, cut. Tua, gone. Jalen Waddle, traded. Like, hey, you know what? No hard feelings. This is not about, it's not you, it's me. We got to do what we got to do. And we got to do what's best for the Miami Dolphins. Like, so when these moves happen, people go, what? They traded Jalen Waddle? Well, the writing was kind of low. But he mentioned Jalen Waddle. No, he didn't mention Jalen Waddle when he talked about the foundation. Travis did. He brought up Jalen Waddle. He's like, oh, well, yeah, Jalen Waddle's a good player, and he kind of,
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
There's the alert. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, there it is. And what happens? Waddle is traded. So that's what's refreshing. And I'll say this too. He's the general manager, but the way, like he was with Jordan Brooks during that, and he was right in that video, and he fist bumped and all this. We know Coach Hafley's the coach, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he coaches. We'll see how the season plays out, or how these guys progress and respond when they face difficulty, time management. Oh my God, they missed. They should have called a kick or a run. Oh, okay. Next game they did that. That's what I'm looking for. But I'll tell you, with John Eric Sullivan, he kind of feels like another coach. Just like he holds these guys. Like when he talks, he's not like, I just do the job and then the coach does the coach and that's when I'm done with it. No, he says, I'm always watching. And whatever decision when it comes to the roster, that's on me. I'm the one who makes the final decision on, who's going to get signed, who's going to get traded, he may talk to Coach Hafley, they're partners, but it almost feels like, hey, you can't only not just piss off Coach Hafley. You're going to have to make sure you're making him happy too. Cause he's that's refreshing to me. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but go ahead, Courtney.
No, I agree. They remind me of, this is pretty niche, but like the board at a Pop Warner football team. Like that's who these guys, like just older, no nonsense guys. Like in my day, and that's just kind of what they remind me of. And they're coaching over the kids. That's kind of the sense I get. I mean, I am personally still salty over the Waddle trade. That is a personal thing. My Fins for the win, kind of. Yeah. I'm going through. I'm grieving a loss. But I think his main goal was to come in and be like, I need to clean house and I don't want to touch 90% of what Chris Greer did. I want it gone. And I think that they wanted a lot of the big personalities, the big, story, they really got rid of a lot of the personalities in a negative way. Not saying that the guys left are boring, but the, off the field issues. Not that Waddle had any. That's why Waddle didn't have an issue.
No, he didn't.
But it kind of cleared house in a way, and you kind of knew it was inevitable. But I'm glad to see that they kind of went and I think they cleaned house to make a statement with the team too, to say whatever happened before us is done now. Like we are. This is a team now. We're not going to go party. We're not going to go to South Beach. We're not going to goof off. You're not going to, I'm not going to you to death. You're going to be accountable. You're grown-ass men. This is a football team. player be gone. And I really enjoy that mentality.
I'm going to piggyback off of that because it's another kind of point that when I'm talking about when people say, "Oh, Chop's a bust," and Kenneth Grant is a bust, and Savanana, it's like what you just brought up right there with the personalities and the guys that were really the leaders of the squad, minus Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb, I don't put in that thing. Bradley Chubb, I think, and Jalen Waddle, yes, too. If Jalen Waddle's more of like, hey, we gotta move. We get more picks. Let's go ahead and move them. You do it now. You got a first round pick. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb was a contract move. I think Bradley Chubb was a good player for us, a good leader guy, but he had to be moved. Those other guys, you're talking about the quarterback, Tyreek, Tyreek. So these are guys that you not only depend on the field, but you depend on in the locker room and outside the locker room. That you're like, hey, you need to be leaders. You need to play the right way. You need to act the right way. These were guys that when you kind of checked in, they checked out when the game was offline. That's it. You're done. And so when John Eric Sullivan went in here, that's what he said. It's not hard to be around the league and not be on the team to realize, hey, this is the guy. His head's not in it, his heart's not in it. He doesn't want to be here. And John Eric Sullivan came in here and he said when he came to the Dolphins and he was like, all right, Tyreek. Obviously, no one's now. You look at Tyreek and hopefully his leg gets better. It sucks what's going on right now. He's out, and 10 months later, he's so that sucks. But you come into this team, you're like, what Tyreek Hill is. He's one of the best wide receivers in football. If your team is better with him than it is without him. But obviously, you're not expecting to do much next year. And if he was a great leader of a team and everything else, and maybe, but he wasn't that. So it's like, why are we going to let's go ahead and move on. Oh, we're not afraid to cut Tyreek. We're not afraid to cut Tua. Tua was good at times. Tua was a shell of himself last year. And he said stupid stuff during the press conference. It was like, what the hell are you talking about? So at that point, it's like, and then when, well, once I'm gone. But it's like, you know what? We need another guy. We need another franchise guy. We need a guy who could pay. And, again, they get Malik Willis. And Malik Willis obviously doesn't have the resume of Tua Tagovailoa in college, nor does he have it as a pro. Now, I like Malik Willis coming out of Liberty. But in Tennessee, didn't work out. But Tennessee was a joke, just like Miami was a joke last year. So that's why I'm not going to hold it against Chop and those other guys, because who did they have to look after? Who were they looking up to lead them in the right direction? They didn't have the guys. Malik Willis goes to Green Bay. He does the right things. He practices like a starter. He does the film. Like Coach Hafley and Sullivan get to see this guy behind the scenes. And they're like, you know what? That's our guy when we get a team. That's the guy we want. Not because, oh, he's Green Bay too. We want all Green Bay. No, it's because they're going to hedge their jobs on it that, hey, this guy is the guy we want to mold, that when we do get another quarterback, or if he is our guy, great. Or if we get a guy, we're going to, hey, you got to practice and play and prepare like him. So sucks that they're gone. But again, love what Sullivan is doing. Sammy, any follow up to that before we get to the next part?
Absolutely. It's basically what we talk on Tuesday. I don't love the work culture. But that's basically you have to sell the team for success. You have to, they have to know the big brother's always watching. When we were talking about my league before, I was thinking about a story about that. It's been a very famous story. I heard someone talk on the radio the other day, and remind me that Don Shula, the day that Dan Marino substituted David Whitley, I think it wasn't a special I saw the other day. After the loss, he was smiling, and I think that's the only time that anyone saw Don Shula smile after a loss. But because he knew that he had the quarterback in Dan Marino. So this team can be this year can be a total wash. But if we come out of this year knowing that Malik Willis can be the answer, we still have A-Chain, but Bell plays well, and we have a couple of players who step up on defense. There are a couple of seasons things to build on next year. I know that I think it was DSG said we need more than a couple of guys. Absolutely. We had to start somewhere. You had to build the foundation. You had to build the right character and the right players that fit the system. So we're going to know for sure by mid-season, who's going to stay and who's going to go by the end of the season. So it's good. Like you said, no expectations or very low expectations. But my expectations are I need to see those players who are going to be the players of the future, the players that we can count on going forward. So that's where my expectations are. Not necessarily on winning 10 games, 5 games, or even 4 games. is who are the players who are going to step up, who are going to be the building blocks, along with the other four we already speak of, going to be the next step for the Dolphins in years to come.
First off, I want to shout out everyone who's tuning in right now. You guys are watching Fins Talk today on Fins Talk Sports Network, powered by FTSN and Fins TV, sponsored by Caneswear. We got a great, awesome special guest, I'll say family of FTSN. We got Doll in the house. We got over 630 people watching live on all platforms. So appreciate everybody who's joining us here, talking Dolphins. Again, like the topic of the show, the main driving point is, at least he's like, for a team with zero expectations, there is a lot of pressure on this team. I mean, and just to, to kind of just point example is Doll and my expectations in regards of, hey, if this is going to be a mid-tier team in regards of record, what type of mid-tier are we going to team? A team that's they win a couple games, they get lucky, and now we're stuck at 13, or a team that there was enough to show like we're only a couple of pieces away. But again, players like Savanea, how does he respond after what he did last year? Moves to the right side. Does he play like what we expected or what I expected him to be when he got out of college? Does Chop Robinson, after having a solid rookie year, a terrible sophomore year, does he step up in his third year? I mean, closed all socials. Doll, I didn't know that. Doll said he closed all socials. So, like, does that mean his head is in the game, or did the noise get to him and he maybe he's sensitive? We don't know. But I would hope that maybe he's like, no, you know what? It's time to get serious. Especially with Coach Hafley and John Arcella, in the way the examples they've set by cutting the guys who hearts weren't in it. Guys would it's like no one is safe. We're going to talk about this for a second in regards of like who's on the hot seat for players, because we've discussed that, but we're going to Doll's opinion. But like, doesn't matter how much money you're paying. Like, somebody goes, oh, well, they're not going to cut him because he costs too much money. They cut Tua. They cut Tyreek. Like, it don't matter no more. Like, if you don't fit the mold of what they believe a Miami Dolphins player should be, you're gone. So, like, there is a lot of pressure, not really on the fans or the team, like to say, oh, we expect playoffs this year. No, we don't. There's no expectation. But we expect guys to step up. We want to be able to say, like, hey, man, I'm excited for Chop Robinson. They need to extend him. Man, Kenneth Grant played better. Savanea, we're good. We're good at the offensive line. Now we just got to worry about right tackle because Austin Jackson was more than likely gone after this, or left guard, depending on if we move Proctor to right tackle or vice versa. That's the type of stuff. That's the type of pressure these guys are under. But let's roll it back here and let's talk about that for a second. Let's go ahead and talk about Doll. Who do you think? Like, we're not expecting any coach, Hafley or Sullivan as GM, whatever. Mid-season going, is Hafley on the hot seat? There's no expectation of that at all, no matter what Miami's doing. Unless I don't think it's going to be Cam Cameron 2.0. So I'm not worried about that. But I do believe that the hot seat, there are some players that could be on the hot seat. That they're guys that you would think, like, on contract alone or maybe draft pick alone, that, hey, these guys are safe because in the old Dolphins way they were. But maybe this season they're not. If they come into this season and they play like they did last year or drop off from what they did last year, they could possibly be on the way out. In your opinion, which player is facing the most pressure, and or which player do you think will or should be on the hot seat going into next season?
I mean, I think the most obvious player that's under pressure is Malik Willis. I think that's just an obvious answer right there. He has to step in at quarterback. He has to lead this team. He has to prove himself. So I think that he definitely has the most pressure on his shoulders because a lot of people don't believe in him. We've all just been tormented by Tua for the last years. So I definitely think he does. As far as hot seat, though, from legacy Dolphin players, I think Chop. I think for sure, if he has another terrible year like last year, he could start getting the boot. Like, it might just be, hey, you're not cut out for this or whatever. I'm throwing another Storm Duck and Ethan Bonner. I think they've both been huge disappointments at my favorite position. So I think if either one of them can't step up, I know Storm Duck got put on the injured list. So whatever. Those are two that have been disappointing me, and I really think we need something out of that. Otherwise, they're just wasting a roster space. Also, Malik Washington. he's been a pretty good returner for us. I think this is his shot to transition to wide receiver. Could be that guy, but I also think, is he worth re-signing if he really can't show that he can be relied upon more than a return role? And let's be honest, he's a great return man, but he's not Devin Hester. So those are kind of the ones, and even your guy Ollie. I'm going to be honest, he had a disappointing year last year. He really needs to show that he can back up Achane, and so I really think it might be a make or break year for him because wide receivers are pretty interchangeable outside of my man.
I see the SoFlo Sports Show in the house. Lou, Ashley in the house. Appreciate you all tuning in. Everyone who's participating in the comments and everything. Ollie freaking Gordon. Hey, let me tell you something. Miami, what they've talked about this year, run heavy. What they've done with the offensive line, what they've, again, you look at the receiving room. I'm excited about this run game. I'm excited for Devon Achane, right? There's pressure on Devon Achane I'm an Achane guy. I got two autographs from him. Dawn and I have gone to war with other people trying to talk about defending Achane, so she knows where I stand. But I'm going to say this: pressure is on him because there are guys who he signed that deal, and there are Dolphin fans who are like, they should never have done that deal. You don't sign a running back to a second-year deal. He's not top 5. He's not top 10. So the pressure is, can he step up? To
be fair, he has stepped up. He has
100%.
never had a terrible season, in my opinion. No. That's the only reason why I say if he has a down year, I think you let him have a down year. I don't think if he had one down year, he would be on the immediate chopping block because he has proven himself. That's why, and also because I would mutiny.
But I'm going to say, we know he got that, but again, I expect a good year from him, and I actually expect, because of the run heavy, again, H is not just a running back. He can line up at receiver. He can do different things. I expect, somebody put Jalen Wright in there. I think that's a good answer. Jalen Wright, how does he respond? He had fumbling issues, I think, in OTAs. But Ollie Gordon, for sure. And I still believe in Ollie Gordon. And I saw flashes from him last year. But again, the whole team sucked, really. But I saw flashes. But this year, we need to see growth. We need to, especially with this type of offense. When Achane is rolling out and Ollie gets the ball, hey, Ollie, you got 2 freaking towers on the left side. You got my goodness, when they stand, they shade the sun. It's we don't need a shade. We don't need a roof. You're good.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Now, again, I'm an Ollie guy. Ollie freaking Gordon, all day, every day. But I agree. He faces pressure this year. You bring up Chop. We've talked about Chop. I think that's a great answer. Malik Willis, you talked about. Sammy was one of the first ones for me to hear who brought up Malik Willis because of the pressure he's facing. This is his first real time being the franchise guy. He's replacing Tua. Bobby's getting hot thinking about all that. You're damn right. We need that girth. We got that girth on the line. You know what I mean? That line is nice and thick. Okay, it's girthy. All right, that's what you need on that line, brother. All right, and sisters, everyone who's tuning in. God, I hope Liam's not watching. Will, don't explain him. But Will knows.
No, please don't.
But look. You think I'm playing? Look at this. I like my linemen like I like the banana milkshake. My banana milkshakes. Okay, I like them girthy. Okay. And we got that girth on the line. And that's why I believe Ollie freaking Gordon and Devon Achane, and let's put Jalen Wright in there, or he can bust his ass out of here. But I think those guys are going to have good years this year. Oh, good. He's asleep. Good. All right. Thank you, Will. Appreciate you.
Listen, now, I support a girthy line.
Yeah. So, we can talk about girthy all day, bro. Let's go. But what I'll say is this. One player I think that's facing pressure. Talk about in line. A player I think that is facing pressure this year or could be facing the hot seat. It's a guy that actually kind of fits in regards of, the type of player you want on your team for John Eric Sullivan. But he did not live up to his deal when they signed him. Zach Sealer. That's a guy who I think could be on the hot seat this year. If he does not play better than what he did last year, if he doesn't live up to that contract, we could see him out the door. That's a guy. Now,
Steeler is in a very, very, very compromising position just because of the fact that last year he like we talked about Tuesday, his play was down because he has so many young players. He had to take care of their mistakes. But now if those players perform, he's at risk too. So, it's a very thin line of, he's not in a good spot when you really think about it. He really had to perform very, very well for that contract to be worth for the Dolphins to keep. So it's going to be very interesting.
Very interesting. Now we talk about players facing the hot seat, the players facing pressure, players get possibly on the hot seat. Let's talk about guys that maybe, Doll, that you expect maybe or have they could have a breakout year. Who are those guys that you look at this season, players, and you're like, I know you talked about Chop earlier, and you want to pinpoint that more? You could, but is there any other guy or Chop you can add to it that you go, hey, you know what? I can see this guy having a big year this year.
There's two come to mind immediately. Fan favorite, Jacob Rodriguez.
Yes.
I am really excited to see him out there, to see him play. I think that's definitely one that I'm going to be watching. And Mike Chris Johnson, has the potential to really have a breakout year. You don't have much competition in the cornerback room. Expectations are pretty low at this point. Can you just not get burnt? And can you, run a good, follow a good route? So I think those two I have high expectations on. I really like what I saw from their college highlights. So those two are big ones, I think, for me, because I'm going to be watching the defense more. I obviously know Achan's going to take care of my offense. But I'm really excited to see, I think, those two. Those are my two biggest ones. Obviously, a couple that I'm going to have my eye on, but I'm expecting the most, I think, out of those two.
Sammy?
Oh, what can I tell you? Right now, everything is all over the place. So I want to go back because I wanted to talk about something. Right now, I was on Pat McAfee. The Dolphins have the second worst odds to win a division at plus 4,000. So basically, when we talk about low expectations, it's all over the board. On the other hand, ESPN had the Dolphins as the 12th best team of the 25 and younger teams. That was something that came up very, very under the radar. I think it's very promising considering that the Dolphins, are starting building a young team. They're already 12th. So, when you think about it, the expectations right now are not this year. If you go to the odds, I think the worst odds are the Cardinals to win their division. Ours are number 2, and then the Cardinals. So all across the board, the best I've seen the Dolphins, any power ranking or any kind of scenario, is basically the third worst. You know what I mean. But when you think about it, the future might be kind of bright when usually the Dolphins a couple of years ago, maybe last year, were one of the oldest teams in the league, and now they're considered one of almost the top 10 best teams, the younger team. So they're still building. There's still some hope, and we can pound all the way to oblivion that the expectations are not there. But if you ask me, again, expectations for a good record next year, I don't have any. You know what my prediction for the record is, but my expectation for what I see from this franchise, for what I see from this team, for the young players, those are very high. I have very high expectations, not on win or losses, but for what the franchise and the team showed in the field. So I understand, that the no expectation things. That's one of the reasons why I think by the end of the year, people are not going to be very patient, because I understand that people say, of course, I didn't expect the Dolphins to win 5 games, but how they perform in the field, that's good. The players are going to be under the microscope. Those just players to perform to be better players by the end of the year than the start of the year. That is the important thing for me. If at the end of the year you have a couple of young players that are surprisingly performing better, that's a great spot to be in.
Great points. Now let's talk about expectations, but let's talk about Doll's expectation. Because, Sammy, I want to make sure I heard that right. First off, guys, shout out. We got over almost 690 people watching live right now on all platforms. 700. Appreciate everyone tuning in right now, live on FTSN, powered by FTSN and Fins TV on with Finstock Today, sponsored by Caneswear. If you're watching anywhere other than YouTube, we appreciate it if you hop on over, hit that subscription button, that like button. Appreciate all those who are tuning in right now, wherever you're watching, and all those who are participating in the comments. Thank you. Also want to thank, of course, Doll for taking this time to join us. It's so good to see her, obviously, and talk with her. It's always fun when we have her in house.
Bobby, if
yes,
there was any doubt, this is the place to be at 8 p.m. I'm just saying. If there was any doubt. This is,
damn right. The flagship show.
The flagship show. I think that's the best settled. I'm just saying.
You're such a petty, Mr. Petty. Petty White.
I'm a good guy. I can be petty. Yes, I can.
You know what they have in you know what type of water they have in Puerto Rico? They got that petty water in Puerto Rico.
So why where's that? I need her to come down here, to defend me.
Talking about expectations. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We'll wait for her to come. But before I asked all this, I want to make sure for those, I don't know if anybody's seen that yet, but if you have, I've been on Twitter for a little bit, but go check out Fins TV Twitter page for the promotional video for the new season for Fins TV, which should be it's going to be live this Tuesday. Sammy will get more into it in just a bit. But one of those things that I saw in there that Homer Kelly or whatever, it said 10 wins. Is that real? Was that legit?
That audio is real. That audio is
really?
from the Yo's show. That's what he said.
What?
When did he say said Homer Jelly just because I like to.
I love it, I love the Hopian, brother.
He blocked me over 15 years ago, so I like to make fun every chance I can. But that audio is real. That audio is real.
Okay, but when did he say that?
He doubled up on that. That was like 3 weeks ago. He doubled up on that. So he doubled up on that. So and so it's kind of interesting, but I'm sure he's gonna backpedal. He's gonna say, I said they were capable of winning games. That put the pressure on the coaches. Like they could have. I thought they could have. So probably the coaches, failed because they didn't get the 10 wins I predicted. So that's the way that usually goes. But that's real audio on that video. That's true.
Interesting. Doll, do you have expectations of a 10-win season from the Miami Dolphins this year?
First of all, take anything that man says with a grain of salt, because his favorite thing to do is clickbait. It's his favorite thing to do. He can get views to make himself seem more important. That I don't believe a word that man says, because he says everything not to get the views. And so many people fall into that trap, and I just ignore. I think he's muted at this point by May. Listen, that I don't superstitiously predict games. I don't do it when I come on pregame shows. I will not predict scores. I think that it's a superstition. I think it's bad luck. However, as a Miami Dolphins fan, and we all know that I'm not that based in reality in my fandoms, proudly delusional. I have the Miami Sports delusional hoodie to prove that. If you ask me my expectations and our record this year, you will get the same answer. And I have put it on Twitter numerous times, 17-0. You will not get another answer from me. What are the Dolphins going to do this year? 17-0. Who are they going to beat? Everyone. Are they going to lose? No. Can you beat the Bills? Josh is a bitch. Yeah. Like,
okay, here it is.
The same answer every time. So we all know, like, you can ask it. You're going to say my answer.
You're going to love.
That's my
You're
answer.
going to love that Fins TV post. You're going to love that Fins TV post.
That's my expectation.
Can I say something though? Go ahead, Sammy. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say, because I working with or hanging out with Doll on these things for a couple of years now, I think I know pretty well about her rules on predictions and why she doesn't. And I've heard all types of rants, and I've seen the highs and the lows as fellow Dolphin fans. But I will say this: you've been having that rule for a long time, and I respect it, and I get it. Hey, it's the same thing as me. I keep my, sometimes depending, like if the Dolphins are doing really good and my toes are like this on the floor, I'm going to keep my toes like this. Tati can confirm. My children can confirm.
No, I think we talked about we will kick people out of rooms or make them stay in the rooms. If a good
Yes.
play happens, your ass is standing.
There's
on that threshold.
there's
You're
no
not
lovey
moving.
dovey. There's no smooching. There's no nothing during the game because I've proven it. It is proven that Tati has said, "Oh, this is ridiculous," because for whatever reason, there's no. But when the game's going on, there's something big going on. That's when she wants to go out. Like, hey, no, just after, and of course, and so she would. And one time she did, is she kissed me and all of a sudden intercepted, and I'm like, you see, and so like we have these superstitions, and I get it. I will say though, that rule, Dolphins' record's been pretty crap with that rule. I think we should reverse it this year. I think you should do. I challenge you to make some predictions this year, just on a few games, not every game, but to make a couple of let's say give me 5 game predictions this year.
No, Bobby, take it easy. Just game first week 1.
Oh yeah,
Test
I'll do week 1, and if
week 1, and let's see what happens.
If a bad thing happens, first of all, you have to live with that. And you have to know that.
I expected 17-0. It's 16-1 now because of you prick.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Why did he not have another perfect season? Because of Bobby.
That's right. Okay. No, but hey, what if she says she goes, oh, okay. She goes 17-13 Dolphins, and then the Dolphins win 17-13, and then she goes, okay.
Now she has to go week 2.
21. Right, and she keeps going, and oh my God, we're gonna play. And I'm gonna say, I'll be on. Everybody go, Dolphins did great. Halfway, I'm gonna go, no, go back. It's Dahl. Dahl made those predictions. I'm telling you right freaking now. I have to redo the video now.
I'm gonna have to redo the video, Bobby. I'm just gonna start working right on that. I have to
there you go.
Season. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, bro, yeah. Hashtag, yeah. Interception. Yes, those are real. I don't. Don't wait till after the game.
That's what a commercial break is for.
Yeah, it depends where, are we on a drive? Oh, they timed out. Can I? No, wait. But yes, it's always my fault. Whatever. It's true. Whatever. I've accepted. It's life. Whatever. But anyway, we're about an hour in. We got over 690 people watching live right now. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in. If you're watching this on the flagship show, but if you're watching after we've gone live, either way, I appreciate you. Make sure you put your comments, your thoughts on this show. Make sure you share and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Fins TV. Make sure you subscribe to 305 Sports and Rainy Day Podcast. Our friends, the Caneswear. Of course, you guys love everything Canes. Look, you love the Miami Hurricanes. They're gonna have a great year this year. The Miami Heat. They got Giannis. We got Dolphins. Caneswear has it all there. There you go. Canes are gonna be on fire. You gotta go check out Caneswear.
Tony.
Yes.
Fan of the Hurricanes for me.
Yep, that's right. 2655 South University Drive in Davie. All the great stuff, great deals. Brett and the crew, awesome individuals. Now, if you're anywhere other than South Florida, Tennessee, like me, Puerto Rico, like Sammy, Canada, like Evan, Dahl, and Pennsylvania, no matter what, you go to caneswear.com. You could still get some great stuff at Canes. They got everything. They got some nice hurricane hats, a lot of great stuff. And of course, go check out Caneswear TV. I mean, they are skyrocketing right now. Shout out to the Caneswear, our friends over there. Now, before as we get to wrap this up very quick, let's first hear Sammy, man. Let's talk about it. Fins TV, man. The trailer just came out. Talk about Fins TV and what the expectations are for this season.
Over 3,000 views already, so I'm very happy about that. People very like the video. Fins TV is back on Tuesday. Hopefully, we're gonna have the whole crew back. I haven't spoken to Mac, but everybody else is confirmed. We're gonna talk about training camp, of course. Rookie training camp started this week. By Tuesday, the real training camp is going to open. We have some tough things to talk about. We had, going to look back, of course, to the month it was with A-Chain and Brooks and anybody coming back. So it's going to be fun to have the crew back. Tuesday at 8 on Fins TV.
There you go. DSG says, I need that first pick next year. I will be encouraging Todd to kiss you on every. There you go. Oh, no. Don't do it.
Actually, if we get the first overall pick, that draft is in Washington. That's a very nice trip to go to a draft, So that's very, very nice to a trip.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm gonna have to think of that one.
Dahl, again, it is awesome to see you here, to hear from you. It's always fun to have you on. It's like there's no oh man, I haven't talked to you in such a long time. It's like right back at right back at it. But let everybody know where they could follow you, what you got going on for yourself, and your final thoughts.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at $_fan72. Really not much. The offseason haven't done much. I'll be popping on to shows here and there when I'm invited, but I got a kid going to college and I got 2 that play football themselves. So it is my hectic season has begun. You will, I still will live tweet. That's the one thing I do every Dolphins game is I live tweet my reactions. Good, bad, ugly, horrible takes. Sometimes I like to think that when I tweet something bad or I criticize a player, they do well following. So I won't delete that. So if I say like, oh my God, Chop, what the hell, get your shit together, what are you doing? Usually the next play he'll do something big. That's another superstition I have. So you will see some wild tweets. That's always a fun time. I like interacting with people during the game that way. So that's what you'll just see me popping and bopping around.
There you go. There you go. Let's see here. Leano TV 7239. Appreciate you dropping in here, man. 5-12. Book it. Y'all think Tutu Atwell scaring anyone? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I do.
He's gonna shock the world, brother. DSG 5 wins, Max 4 for sure. I'm thinking 3 though. There you go. There's your high expectations for the Miami Dolphins. But hey, you know what? 5 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins, 17 wins, no matter what. Everyone who's watching and tuning in and commenting, we appreciate you joining us here live on FTS.
At least we have each other, Bobby.
At least we have each other. I'm Bobby Finstock. That's Finn Sammy. That's Dolphin 72. We appreciate you joining us. Like and subscribe, and most importantly, Dolphin fans, no matter what, as always, heads up.